You're listening to Joy Coaching America with the Joy Coach, Karyn Lynn Grant, spreading upbeat, uplifting, informative messages of hope and happiness from sea to shining sea, from our home in the beautiful Rocky Mountains.
Welcome to Joy Coaching America. This is Karyn Lynn Grant, and we are interviewing today Brad Buckles, who is fascinating for me. It was so fun the way I met him. And I love doing these interviews because it gives me an opportunity to get to know some pretty amazing people that are doing amazing things in the world today, staying upbeat, positive, encouraging others to become the best versions of themselves. And the thing that attracted me most to Brad and wanting to interview you, Brad, is your passion for life, your musicianship, the story that you come to share today with us, which I think will be fascinating for everybody to hear about how the music world was affected during COVID and how that affected your life and what you're doing now. So give us your story, share it with us today, Brad. We're so excited to have you here.
Well, thanks. It's great to be here. It's always fun to have a new friend and talk about fun things in life. I have been involved in music all my life. I probably became aware of music around the age of 4 or 5 and really got into it. I wanted to be a drummer. I couldn't get my hands on a bass guitar fast enough. There's something about rhythm that I like. My mom put me into dance. I have a big background in Polynesian growing up in Hawaii. So lots of rhythm, lots of music, lots of dancing. And it wasn't long before about the age of 10 or 11, I found myself in the Honolulu Boy Choir, which goes on tour every summer across the country. And although that seems so far ago, that was kind of the beginning or the coming out, if you will, of my musical experiences. Not too long after that, music instruments came and lessons and all kinds of experiences, learning to compose and write. And long about the age of 14, I was in my first band. We were probably not all that good, but we had a lot of fun. And that led to another band and led to another band. And it wasn't before the age of about 16, 17, about 16 years old, we signed a contract out of San Francisco and started down the road of recording and demos and all kinds of live music, all that would encompass as far as performing and trying to find places to play live, high schools and schools and all kinds of proms. I just can't even remember all the different nightclubs and things that we did. And about the age of 22, 21, I guess, and a half, 22, after just getting married, I ventured out into concert production. And that was everything that I hoped for, everything that I wanted to do. We had done it a little bit earlier with our own bands, but this was the big leagues.
This was full scale.
Oh yeah, this is full stadium shows. And I've been around the country, I've been around the world, worked with artists from 5,000 people in a show to easily 65, 75,000 people in a show.
That is fascinating. I can only imagine what fun that life was.
It was fast. My dad used to always tell me that I needed to look up and look around and enjoy it because things were going by so fast that although I felt like I was enjoying it, as I reflect back, things went by pretty quickly.
I bet they did. I bet that was just so fun. Can you share with us some of the people that you did concerts for, that you put together concerts?
Yeah, I worked with Paul McCartney. I've worked with Jay-Z, Beyonce, Tom Petty until he passed away, 21 Pilots, so many in between. We did the Eagles one particular night that was actually pretty significant. That was part of the Hell Freezes Over tour. So for a lot of the people around the world, when the Eagles came back together, that was the significant moment. And that was a lot of fun. Probably the most rock and roll moment was when the Nirvana came out to be with Paul McCartney in Seattle to close one of the tours. And they came out and played a 5-song set as Nirvana with Paul McCartney. That was pretty epic.
That was epic. So then you were doing this. How many years were you doing this?
30 years.
Did this for 30 years and then we hit COVID.
Then COVID hit us. Yeah.
And then what happened?
Well, I got a call one day. We were heading to the airport to catch a flight to another show. And I got a call that the governor was postponing our event. And I knew nothing about it. I didn't understand it. Nobody, there's no standard operating procedure for something like this. And in my life, this has never happened before. I mean, for a lot of us, but on the way to the airport, they just politely dismissed me and told me I didn't have to catch the flight and show up. I reminded them I had a crew of like 110 people in the building putting this show together. And they said, no, you had 110 people. We've dismissed them also.
Wow.
And literally I'm standing there like, now what? Like, now what do you do? And the show was on hold. I mean, it was going to be 3 weeks. We're going to flatten the curve. Don't worry, it'll be back to normal in no time. And nothing could be further from the truth, even to this day.
Wow. So even to this day, no shows?
Yeah. Well, there's no tours that are putting together. I mean, things are just starting to come together. Before Omicron or Delta, there was a lot of surge in the tickets were selling and people wanted to come out of their house. But when those other variants hit, that just shut everything down. Nobody has a way to come back to 100% yet.
Do you think that you will ever go back to that?
I don't know. I've gotten a little bit older. I'm hopefully a little bit wiser. Some other things have entered my life that have been a lot of fun. And I might. I'm on the other hand, I've traveled a lot. I've experienced a lot. And there might be a new chapter here for me.
You've met lots of people.
Oh, yes, I have.
You know a lot of them. You're in Utah now. And how is that?
I love it. We moved here almost 2 years ago. Reconnected with a lot of my old musical friends from long before.
Yeah, share some of their names with us because I think we know some of the same people.
Oh, let's see. Sam Carden,
Yes.
probably responsible way back in the beginning. Kurt Bester, Mike Dowdle,
Yes.
Paul Engelman, the Overtons, the whole family, including
Yes,
Chris.
Glenn Overton.
Yeah. Donnie Osmond. Of course, back when I was with him and kind of arranging and doing things, he was not in the career that he is now. He's really taken off again, probably now as good as before, but this was kind of in the slower years.
Mhm.
Who else?
That's been such a colorful life, hasn't it? Just
Oh,
been
yes.
so much fun
Oh, yeah.
with proactive people that are just passionate and on fire.
And full of encouragement. They took a young kid under their arm and just gave him hope.
That is such a great story. I love it.
Yep.
I love it. What would you, I didn't send you any questions to ask. I just feel impressed to ask, as you have done this, you wanted to do this from your youth. You were involved in music as a young guy. And how would you encourage parents? Because a lot of parents don't encourage their children to go this direction, but it worked for you and you were very successful at it.
It's been very good. My dad was not one that really encouraged it. So I know kind of that feeling. My mom was very much so. I mean, she told my dad to step aside and basically open the door. And if I was going to encourage parents, having been a parent myself, I've got 4 kids, one who is really in the music industry today. He's just dropped his first EP. We bought him guitars, we bought him drums. If they just kind of naturally navigated to certain rhythms or musics or singing, get him lessons, just kind of let him go into lessons with teachers and play, just explore. We would get him to a lot of live shows, encourage them to do things at school, choirs and dance recitals and just everything.
I love how you did Polynesian dance. My daughter got into that. She's blonde, blue-eyed, and she performed on BYU stage with all the Polynesians. And I love it.
As white as they come. I know.
I love that. Oh, so from there, now you have taken a new turn. Your life has taken a new turn, but you're using all that personality and all of that proactive action to create a whole new life.
Yeah, I ended up being caught off guard during COVID to what I was going to do. This is all I've ever done in my life. So my wife kind of looks at me like, now what? And we're not going back to shows. Expos and trade shows and all these conferences are all flat. There's nothing going on. and she asks me what I want to do, and I have no idea. This is what I've done
That
my
was
whole life.
that was you.
That was everything. Yeah.
That became your identity probably. And then that was a huge crisis.
Oh yeah. I
At
had
the
no,
time.
when someone would say, "Who are you?" I'd go, I don't know. It was just,
Isn't it amazing?
yeah, everything was wrapped up and very successful and very enjoyed and thoroughly just used and played with and enjoyed. And then nothing. I mean, no warning sign, no anything. So for several weeks, you sleep like everybody during COVID, and you kind of hang around and you relax and enjoy a little bit of downtime. But slowly but surely, there's not much to get up in the morning for. And so my wife had run into this Rainbow company, this air cleaning company. We had gotten a demonstration, and through an odd twist turn of events, I end up at an open house a couple of weeks later. And next thing you know, I'm being hired to go sell air cleaners. And
As a manager.
yeah, and literally like, now what? And I'm going into,
And you had never sold anything before. I mean, you were selling concerts, but not physical appliance.
No, in people's homes, in-home demos, one-on-one, memorizing a script, trying to show off this product and all the different characteristics. A family that has owned this company for a long time gave me a chance and said go, and put me through a little bit of training, and next thing you know, I'm now in Utah, no longer in Seattle.
What a change.
Oh yeah, I'm on the ground, no more moving around. And I'm walking into people's homes saying, "Hey,
spreading love and light."
It is
I might
fun.
add.
It is fun.
And we will be right back to hear more of Brad's story after these messages.
From sea to shining sea and beyond, you're listening to Joy Coaching America Worldwide with show host and Joy Coach, Karyn Lynn Grant.
Welcome back to Joy Coaching America. This is Karyn Lynn Grant with Brad Buckles. Today we are joy coaching men and women who might have lost during COVID their primary source of income. And Brad, to me, it's amazing that you had spent your whole life from a youth on loving music, being a musician. I still want to know, do you sing? What musical instruments do you play? But doing all this for 30 years, and then suddenly COVID turned the lights out on the stadium and the event centers, and there went your livelihood. And how many other men out there can relate to this, as well as women? I can relate to, but that was a huge livelihood. That was a huge income.
It was everything. Yeah.
That was your whole life and your wife's whole life.
Yep.
To have a husband that was just so proactively involved in the music world. So if you had a message to give to somebody out there who's feeling in that stage of, I'm going to just lay low in my sweatpants and watch TV for the next year, what would you tell people to help them to get up off of their couches and find a new passion, which you are very passionate about your new passion?
I do like my new thing. It's kind of a hard thing. We're all different. We all respond to situations differently, but I think you have to lean forward. You always have to kind of look for the next thing. And I seriously had never filled out a resume. I had never had a job interview, and I had never had any kind of a reason to say this is who I want to be or this is what I want to do. I was fortunate enough the first time around that I did what I wanted, and it did well for me. So here I am looking around. I've got a friend down the street asking me if I want to go work at his company, which is in automobiles. And I'm thinking,
was that while you were in Washington still?
No, that was here in Salt Lake.
Okay.
I got an offer to go work in the automobile industry, go sell cars. And that was kind of intriguing to me, but then not so much. I just was like, that's not it. And I just kind of started talking to people. I just moved here, so I knew nobody. And 2 or 3 friends were saying, hey, let's get into real estate. And it just didn't click. I have a background in finance, so I should have gone towards that direction. But how many people get a degree and never practice? That's my story.
Absolutely.
That's my story. great background, but no application. And one thing led to another. I found out about an open house. I went in really just trying to like maybe just ask some questions. And I wasn't even honestly thinking employment. I just said, let me meet with the owner and let's talk. And 4 or 5 hours later, boom, I'm hired. And it was just, I think for most people, you just have to kind of look at what you like, maybe look at some of the people and then just start asking questions. Something will drop in our lap. It always does, but we don't always see it coming. And I definitely didn't see this coming.
Something to be passionate about. Today, I was doing a call with the Joy coaches, and I was talking about, we all have a purpose, a mission, and a calling here. And there's people we're going to meet doing, it's not always about what we do, but the people that we meet doing what we come to love. And like, I wouldn't have met you without your choice. I mean, here I write spiritual songs about Jesus and never been in a stadium. And my audiences are one person on a massage table listening to this music while they're getting their back massaged and their feet massaged. And yet how fascinated I was, and I am, with what you did, what you brought to your career, the passion that you filled your career with, and then being able to take that, turn on a dime, and build a whole new career. And I think that is really important and vital for people out there to get hope that it's not over just because somebody pulled the blinds down on our brightly lit, sunlit dream. We can go and open those blinds, and we can take a new turn and find a new passion, a new love, and new people that we will love. So I love your message, Brad. I think it's really awesome.
Thanks. I think one other thing too is you have to hope. You have to really decide, I'm going to embrace this. I'm going to try it. There were days that I was very nervous about this. I don't go in and do scripts. I don't memorize real well. I was not the best student in school, but if you hope and you have a little bit of desire and
you love people.
People are great. I have met, I met you. That was fun. That was a really good time. I have met some of the nicest, loneliest, quietest people. And then on the other hand, I was on Saturday morning at somebody's home, and 3 guys were just having the time of their life. We were playing around and messing around with these machines and air and quality. And they just sent me a big thank you note this morning when I arrived here. And they're just super excited. They love it. And it's fun to go into people's environment, see them, see what they are, get them to open up, and then just kind of enjoy a really fun conversation for a few hours.
That is really true. Putting the fun into whatever it is you choose to do and doing it with passion. So I would love to talk to you now as we go through this program today. The quality of air in our homes and the quality of everything that I learned from you about the negative ions. And I think that that's so important. And now you're dealing with this full time. You are sharing your passion for purifying people's homes, which if we're going to be staying at home, more doing our businesses at home, living our livelihoods at home, then it seems like we would really want to have our homes be a very clean place. And so this was very exciting to me because I love order and I love clean. So I would love for you to share what this piece of equipment that you have does differently than anything else out there.
Yeah, it's called the Rainbow. It's known as the Rainbow SRX, which is the Supreme Rainbow Experience. That's the model right now. For years, it's been called the E7 and the R1 and the R2. Yes, that's a reference to the Star Wars character, but it goes clear back to 1936 when this company had decided to harness outside's environmental factors, the wind and the rain and the sun, and bring it inside to be able to give us the best of the air that we could have. And of course, this is during times when there were no crises, there were no problems. It's just life as we know it. And this company has just blown open. I mean, it's worldwide on increasing the quality of air in our home and doing it through natural wind, rain, and water. And helping us educate ourselves to even how important it is. Like a lot of people aren't even aware that we have dust in our home. They know this, but they don't really know it.
It was really interesting as you shared what dust is made of.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I had no idea about some of these things, Brad, and I think it's really important. I would love for you to give out your phone number so that if anybody wants to give you a call and get a demo and see what's going on in their home, because it's very amazing as we look, as you do this demo and we see what's really growing in the carpet.
Literally.
Yes, I think there's a term that you used. What was that term?
Your DTL, your
Yes.
dirty tolerance level.
And you can see people's faces change as you are pulling things out. I recently had one of the best carpet cleaners come to my home because I already had it set up.
Right.
And so I had them come and they did my carpets upstairs, downstairs, did everything. They did their 4-level treatment, which goes into the carpet pad, which I don't know if I like that, but it did go deep into the pad and even into the baseboard, which I don't know that I agree with that, but that's what they did. And then I ran my rainbow vacuum over the carpets after they left, and my water was black.
Oh yeah.
And I don't want you all to think that I don't vacuum. I do. I thought that, but I don't know that carpet cleaners are doing the job that we think, because I was sold twice. The first night that you were here sharing, and then after my carpet cleaning experience with one of the 5-star carpet cleaners in Utah, and I still had more to pull out, and the rainbow got it.
Unfortunately, the technique that we use in carpet cleaning puts more into the carpet or into the pad or the subfloor, as you were saying, and we don't extract it enough. So we end up creating another culture, another sub-level environment that we're just not aware of. And if you took a wet towel and stuck it under 2 or 3 towels and left it there to dry, you would not consider that hygienic. I mean, it would not be a good thing. And yet
It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. So to answer your first question, let me give you my phone number, which is 425-922-7924. You'll get a voicemail that says Brad Buckles, and I'd be more than happy to come by and talk with you a little bit more. But we'll go on to talk a little bit further about this. I think we're getting ready to take a break.
Yes, and we will be right back. Joy Coaching America.
Welcome to the Loving Liberty Radio Network.
Welcome back to Joy Coaching America, raising the world's vibration to love, joy, and peace, one happy listener at a time.
We're back. Joy Coaching America. This is Karyn Lynn Grant with Brad Buckles. And today we're talking about a really crucial conversation, I think, because during COVID, we've all become very concerned about germs and viruses and bacteria and all of those things, more than we probably ever noticed before in our lifetimes, that we are like wearing masks, and some of us still are, some of us aren't, some churches are, some churches aren't, some people are. But the important thing is, I think, to get educated about the things that are growing in our homes and in our environments, because as you shared with me, if you're living in your home and it's wintertime and you're not opening your windows, there are things in your atmosphere that are cloistered together. And you were talking about the amounts of pollutants from just our cleaning supplies, and that our homes are not getting aired out. We're not getting our homes purified. So Brad, teach our audience what we needed to know that we never learned in kindergarten.
Well, I say that quite often, is that we never learned to balance our checkbook in high school. So there's a lot of things we didn't learn to do. I think it's just, first, it starts with awareness. We don't realize the amount of mildews, bacterias, viruses, dust, just dirt, things that are in our normal everyday home, whether it be in the dirt walkways or the kitchen. Doesn't take a scientist to pull out a broom and just decide to sweep the kitchen. And you can watch a whole display of the bits and pieces kind of go along the same way as a broom. And then all the dust that gets blown behind in the sunlight or just blown up in the air.
And especially because during COVID, people bought dogs. People got a lot of animals. I know I did. I got doodles, golden doodles, and they just track stuff in all by themselves. And so I think that the importance of cleanliness, especially if you have animals, because of the scent that you grow accustomed to, that other people walking into your house go, oh, they've got animals. And just to have this apparatus to just purify the air. I just think it smells so good in here, and I love it, using essential oils and all of that. But being aware of the kinds of things, like how many pollutants did you say that we can have in our homes just from?
There's easily 25 to 35 different things. I mean, if you just go down the list from mildew, dust, bacteria, dander, hair, dead skin, paint, plaster, various different things that we walk in off the street. They call it slurry, or like anything that's on the asphalt that would come in on a paw if you have a pet, or just on our shoes, things that we walk in the door. Each one of us have our own body, so we have our own set of hair and dead skin and sweat and things like that. That just, it culminates in our bed, it culminates on the couch, it culminates on the chair. And then as we all share that, or as we all just enjoy the home, this just all gets mixed up in the air. So about 75% of our atmosphere has got this floating around. We all know if you open a window or a shade during the sunny day, you'll see all this stuff kind of floating in the air. We see about 1/10 of what is actually in the air. And then it settles. So if we're not catching it in the air, it's just going to settle right into our carpet, our bed, our chair, our couch, and it just stays there.
The fascinating thing for me was that how you said that with this machine, it comes with these different appliances or different attachments, but that you can clean a whole mattress. And tell us how many, what are those little bugs called?
Oh, the dust mites.
Dust mites.
Yes.
And does every home have dust mites?
Everywhere has dust mites. Yeah, dust mites live off of our dead skin. It's just a circle in life that we can't prevent. But they harvest, if they will, they eat, and then they have these droppings. And these droppings are just microscopic. You can't see them. They're very, very fine, and they collect. And you can walk into anybody's home, no matter how beautiful, how clean, how oftenly cleaned professionally, and you can just run a finger along a shelf, or you can run a finger along a frame somewhere, a mantle, fireplace, any kind of thing like that. We all know the top of a TV set is always a great spot for this. And it's just a collection of these dusts, these microorganisms that live in our home, some more toxic than others. But this has been true for decades, that this causes allergies and asthmas, eczemas, all kinds of psoriasis. I mean, there's just a whole list, autoimmune disorders, all kinds of
I had no idea.
Oh yeah, COPD, lung cancer. I mean, the list goes on. It can be something very simple that we could take a medication for, although we can clean it, so why take the medication? Or it could be something as...
You'll have to continue taking medication if you don't clean it.
Yeah, we call it a Band-Aid. It fixes the situation. It's a situational problem. You have a reaction, or you're diagnosed, maybe you're born into something, or you have a genetic problem, propensity to this. And you literally either have to fix it, or you have to live with that for the rest of your life. And this machine, this Rainbow company, has developed these machines that come into the home and literally clean the air. They absorb, as you saw in our demo, right into a basin of water, all these elements.
Well, and that was interesting how you shown that black light, and you could see what it was pulling out of the air. Just whatever it was, if it was dust. But that was very fascinating, because having you come is like someone coming and bringing you science experiments. And I love science experiments. I loved science in high school, but this is like watching science experiments. It's just really interesting. And it's in all of our homes, and especially when we're living here so much with our animals, we need to have a way to really purify the air, get the negative ions back in, that rainforest effect. I loved that. I've loved having that influence in my home since I met you.
Yep. And it's really interesting. You mentioned earlier that we walk into people's homes and we think it smells normal, but then we can walk into somebody else's home and it smells musty, or it smells there's a slight odor. It's interesting how it doesn't affect us until we see it in somebody else's life, or it hits us upside the head. And I walk into 3 or 4 homes a day now, and I'm very aware of the smell and the freshness or the lack of. Some people draw their blinds. Some people live in a dark room. They don't even open up their blinds and their windows. I'm sure you've been into people's homes where you want to kind of go like, hey, open up, like lighten it up. And that has an effect. It does. And sun itself, UV light helps. And there's so many things that we could be aware of to change with very little effort. The quality that would make us feel better, it would make us live better, it would be healthier for us, it just make our day better.
Right. Oh, I love it. I'm so thankful. And I just feel like, would you give us your contact information? We want to inform people. By the way, this will be a radio show, and it will air on Loving Liberty Radio Network at noon on a weekend. And then after it becomes a radio show, it's turned into a podcast. All of these radio shows become a podcast. The news is eliminated, and then it's found on Spotify, Alexa, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcast, Apple Podcast. So you can go anywhere and find this interview with Brad Buckles, and it will say, purifying our lives, purifying our homes, purifying our air, meet Brad Buckles. And I'm just so excited and so grateful you're here. But go ahead and give us your contact information. Is there a website that we can go to and check this out?
There is a website called myutahair.com. I'm Brad Buckles, spelled the way it sounds, and my cell phone is 425-922-7924. There is a lot of information on the Rainbow Cleaner, air cleaner. It has been known as the Rainbow Vacuum. It's a part of the business. It's an attachment that we use. Decades ago, it was known as the Rainbow Vacuum. Now it's more the Rainbow Cleaner. It's got so many more attachments and so many more things that it does, that just to call it a vacuum is not enough.
I love that you can leave it running in your home without that attachment. And it also has a shampooer, which I'm excited about, but you can take all the attachment off and just leave it there to put negative ions in your home.
That's really the largest percentage of what we try to get people to do in their home, because it makes the biggest difference.
Are there any competitors out there for putting negative ions into the air?
No, not really. I mean, there are companies that make their claims, and it would probably be appropriate to say, yes, they're trying, but I don't think that there's a company out there, in my experience or in any of the research that I've done, that comes close.
Brad, when we come back, I'd love for you to share that this isn't just in Utah. I know this radio show goes all over, but you can get a rainbow vacuum, a rainbow cleaner, even if you live in Timbuktu. So we'll be back, and you're going to share with us how many countries this is spreading in. Thank you so much, Brad Buckles. This is Karyn Lynn Grant, Joy Coaching America.
Welcome back to Joy Coaching America, raising the world's vibration to love, joy, and peace, one happy listener at a time.
We're back. Joy Coaching America. This is Karyn Lynn Grant interviewing Brad Buckles, and he's gone from, still a musician, always a musician, once a musician, always a musician, but now he's singing a new tune with what he is sharing with the world, which is so perfect, so timely right now, to help us all to learn about how to purify our homes. And I think that that couldn't be more important than it is right now when we're all doing in-home businesses. We're all getting pets at home because we love these furry little friends that are keeping us company as we're underneath our desk and our fuzzy slippers doing our webinars across the country. I'm so excited, Brad, that you're here with me today. I love what you're sharing and what you've shared with me so far, and what you're sharing with our listening audience about the need that we have to clean our air at home, to clean our mattresses, our pillows, and all the things that you teach people on a daily basis now. But we mentioned that the website was myutahair.com.
myutahair.com.
But if you live outside of Utah, what can you do if you want your home to be clean? If you want one of these demos, if you want one of these purifiers, these $200 purifiers that you get as a gift for just receiving a demo, but I don't know how anybody could not want one after they see the demo. So tell us where we can go if we live outside of Utah.
Well, this company, Rex Air is the name of the company, is out of Troy, Michigan, and they have been around since 1936. They have been researching and developing these air cleaners. They're nicknamed scrubbers. They're used in clean room technology, all over science and medical. You can have these demos done in your home, literally all the way around the world. They're like in 150 different countries. This is done in like 105 different languages. You go to the web, surf Rainbow Cleaner or Rainbow Air Cleaner, Rex Air Company, and just sign up for a demonstration to have somebody come to your home. They will bring to you a very well-researched, incredible amount of medical information behind it, claiming and backing up all their claims. But the cleanliness, the breathing, the air quality, these things that most of us just don't spend any time thinking about unless we have diagnoses that really cause us a problem. You know, if you've got COPD or if you have an allergy or an asthma, it's a life's diagnosis. It's something that they fight for a long time, but it doesn't have to be that way. We can reverse it. We're very careful not to reverse the diagnosis, but we can take those symptoms, those triggers, and we can totally put them back in the closet.
Well, I know that one of the reasons why I was very interested and adamant that I did get this, because my husband, who has had COVID and who is in St. George doing hyperbaric chamber experience down there, after he got diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer, they did x-rays on his lungs and said he had a lot of scar tissue. Well, he used to be a painter and he painted with lacquers and all these different finishes. And so this has affected his lungs, got painter's lung. And so now he's really going through the ringer down there, trying to just heal his lung situation. And I thought, how wonderful to have that here. And then you were talking about the people that own the franchise here in Utah and how he studies the medical, loves the medical, and that you can get tons of information. If you are a listener and you are suffering from a medical condition that is related to anything airborne, please call Brad. Brad, can you give out your phone number?
Yeah, it's 425-922-7924. The website is myutahair.com. And on this site, the gentleman, Jim, the owner, one of them, has just collected over a period of 20 some years all this medical information, these research reports, the medical reports, the conditions, the situations, all the revelations over these decades as we've learned so much. He just keeps throwing it on the website. It's amazing.
That is, and I am a person that loves that kind of information. Not everybody might want that, but for those of you who like to study the science and the medical behind a purchase that you might make, this would be an excellent resource for you, especially if you are suffering from any kind of lung issue or concern right now. I think that's wonderful. So tell us some of the countries that you are in.
Oh, we're everywhere. We're all the way around the world, about 150 different countries so far. I think that leaves about 75 that we're not in.
Wow.
But some of those get to be, third world countries and situations that are a little bit harder to transport,
Mhm.
maybe even have electricity in your home.
So how many salespeople are in this company?
Corporate wise, I have no idea.
Wow, that's
Tens
very,
of thousands.
there's got to be, my first experience with the old version of the rainbow vacuum was when I was 19, and my friend bought one. She was married, I wasn't. I was engaged, and she fell in love with it. She
Oh,
was
yeah.
like purifying everything. She had a new baby and she just swore by it and loved it. Well, I'm excited, and I feel like there's people out there that can benefit from this knowledge. And you were telling me how those dust mites per square inch, or was it square foot?
Square yard.
Square yard.
Yeah, 10,000 dust mites microscopically per square yard in our home.
When you hear that, it makes you, perk up a little. Nobody wants to be sharing their atmosphere with cavorting beasties.
And yet we do. It's just part of the ecological system in the world that we live in. So there's ways to control it. There's ways to dampen it. There's ways to keep it clean. But most of it is awareness, and then kind of watching and looking and then reacting. And
tell me about the negative ions. How does it do that? And how does that benefit for anybody out there who may not know?
So back in 1870, a Dr. Leonard, they call it the Leonard effect. He discovers that when it rains outside, that the water hits the ground and it bursts, or it cracks, which is a scientific term. It doesn't literally break the raindrop, but H2O has a release called petrichor. Petrichor is this natural negative ion that's a reaction. You find it a lot at the beach. When you're around the beach, it's that fresh air, that really invigorating smell. After a rainstorm, if you walk outside, or just pre-rain, you get that sense that it's going to, and that freshness. The waterfall, if you're out hiking, I was talking to somebody yesterday that says, oh, we love hiking waterfalls. It's always so invigorating. And I said, why? Well, because it just smells so good. Why? Because it just makes us feel good. I'm like, we bring that exact science into the home through this machine, and this machine recreates that exact same cracking of the water. It recreates a rainstorm or a day at the beach, and it sends out these natural negative ions, which actually help us breathe. They help us live. They help us sleep. They help us feel good. They balance our serotonin levels. The list goes on.
That is amazing. Is there an article about that?
Oh, there's tons of it. All kinds of support. This is not a rainbow company tagline. This is science. I mean, this is true. So
It's just that the rainbow does it.
The rainbow
reenacts.
Reenacts is a good word. It recreates that exact same phenomena, and that cracking of the water gets jetted out the back of the machine. And the machine, as you know, you can sit right behind it and smell it and feel it. People report back to us that it helps them heal. It helps them sleep.
I wonder if that would help with headaches.
Oh my goodness. If you'll remember, the way that our family got involved in it is my wife gets these really, really bad migraines. If you'll remember,
right,
my wife bought one because of these headaches, and said literally about 20 minutes into a demo, she kind of doesn't want the salesperson to hear. So she just kind of leans over. I go, well, I don't know, do whatever you like. I wasn't even there. So it's like, buy it. And she bought it. She went from 2 to 3 ER visits a month to about 2 a year, where she was going in and getting the cocktail shot, the known migraine relief, and she'd come home and sleep off the rest of the day. And she instantaneously noticed and felt it, and said within about 20 minutes that her headache had gone away. What happens is this cleaner, by cleaning the air and sending out these natural negative ions, they trap in water the triggers, the things that cause these reactions. So your husband's breathing is triggered by something that he breathes into his lungs because of a past experience. People with asthmas and allergies are allergic to certain things. They breathe them in. If the water cleaner can trap it in water, they don't have it there to breathe. So you're just literally eliminating.
It's really fascinating.
Yeah. It helps. It helps a lot. It helps with the colds. It helps with the sniffles. It helps with congestion. migraines, breathing. I mean, the list goes on.
It's really interesting because I know that I specifically asked, do you think that this could help people with COVID? And you said, we can't say that. And we can't talk about that, but
We can say viruses. It definitely goes after viruses.
okay, there you have it. So excited to do the research. Again, the website to go and find the medical research is
myutahair.com. There's another website called myindoораirquality.com, which is just a backup. It's another place where we have a lot of research, but it's all linked online. You'll find it very easily.
Well, I just want to say that I think that this is a perfect show to Joy Coach America, especially it's providing a solution. It's providing hope. It's providing an option for all of us who have been quarantining. And yes, life is picking up a little bit and people are getting back to the office, but there's still so many people who choose to stay home and work from home. And so having your home be clean and a delightful place, a place that you know is healthy, that you can feel like you can invite someone in and just have the freshness, the negative ions, the cleanliness. I love it. So Brad, as we close the show, tell us, oh, that would be a long question, but if somebody's interested in doing what you do and in sharing this, if you have a passion for clean and order and beauty in the home, please call Brad Buckles at
425-922-7924. And by the way, it's a lot of fun. It's very important. There's an alternative to all these things that are happening in our life, but they're always fun and it's always exciting. And you feel like you really can make a difference in somebody's life.
That's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. Thank you so much, Brad, for joining me today. This is Karyn Lynn Grant, Joy Coaching America with Brad Buckles.